Good day everyone, I am Wilbert Piala, the little teacher of the Study Hub 4. I would like to introduce the speaker of our group and their assigned topic. Our first speaker is Mr. Jerwin Galvez, who will discuss all about the historical views of childhood, followed by the second topic that I myself will discuss, which is the current concern of today's children. Next, the third speaker, Mr. Raymar Kapeng, who will proceed the topic of the developmental process and periods. Followed by the next speaker, Mr. Rojimar Pulad, who will discuss about the periods of development. Lastly, Mr. Jasper Tagohop will proceed with developmental issues. This is our learning outcomes in this video presentation. At the end of this record video presentation, the students should be able to: number 1, understand the historical views of childhood and its context. Number 2, define the different current concern about today's children. Number 3, define the different development process and periods. Number 4, understand the different periods of development. Number 5, define the different developmental issues.
A pleasant day to each and everyone. I am the first reporter, and the assigned topic to me is all about the historical views of childhood. Let's begin with defining what is the historical views of childhood. Historical views of childhood refers to the perspectives, beliefs, and attitudes that societies and cultures have held about children throughout different periods of history. These views have evolved over time and have significantly shaped how children are perceived, treated, and educated within various societies. According to Kelly 2008, childhood is not universal, rather it is a product of culture and as such will vary across time and place. The view of the child is ever-changed, and a lot of what we as mamas do is shaped by societal values and norms. The way we view and see our children has altered throughout history. Throughout childhood, philosophers have speculated at length about the nature of children and how they should be reared. Some influential philosophers' views portray children in terms of original sin, tabula rasa, and innate goodness. Let's define first what is the original sin view. This was advocated during the Middle Ages. Children were perceived being born as basically bad or as evil beings. The goal therefore was that child rearing should provide salvation to remove the sins from the child's life. According also to Gill education, child rearing practices were therefore harsh and punishment were severe. Belief in inherent sinfulness from birth with baptism as a remedy. The second one is the tabula rasa view. In 17th century, it was proposed by English philosopher John Locke that children are not innately bad, instead they are like lung tablets. Locke believed that child experiences are important in determining adult characteristics, and he advised parents to spend time with their children to help them become contributing members of the society. In further explanation, tabula rasa view, a supposed condition that emphases have contributed to the human mind before ideas have been imprinted on it by the reaction of senses to the external world of objects. According also to Aristotle's tabula blanca account view, in 384 to 322 BC, children are blank slates shaped by environment and experiences. The third one is the innate goodness view. In 18th century, it was presented by a French philosopher in the name of Jean-Jacques Rousseau. He emphasized that children are inherently good because they are basically good. The only role of caregivers is for the children to be permitted to grow naturally with little monitoring or constraint. According also to Rousseau, 1712 to 1778, infants born inherently good. emphasis on giving children the freedom to develop and protecting them from corruptible influences. Our views of children has dramatically changed. Our perception of childhood rests as highly eventful and a unique period of life that lays the foundation for the adult years. Thus, most modern approaches in understanding the children and adolescents today depends on the fact that we approach our understanding of them through identifying which skills they master and how they confront new life tasks. Our introduction to several influential and diverse theories of child and adolescent development will substantiate what we already know about it. And this is the conclusion of my topic, which is the historical views of childhood. Each of us had a wide and mix of each of these views and will be continually shaped and altered by our children and our own experiences. I wonder what future parents will look back on and think of our choices. So the concept of childhood evolved from barely existing to being a range of ages that is written for extensively. The evolution of genres give us an important look into how the cultures of those today's viewed children. This topic talks about the development of concept of childhood and childcare of a young ones, including their behavior, if they are naturally born evil or good. It helps us to understand more and be knowledgeable about this information, especially if you have a child with the help of the philosopher's views. And that's the end of my report, which is all about the historical views of childhood. Now let's proceed to the next reporter that will tackle all about the current concerns about today's children.
Today's kids confront a variety of issues and influence, such as well-being, education, social policies, and social context. These are the following factors that are vital in development. Number 1. Poverty. Poverty negatively affects a child's physical and socio-emotional. It shortens life expectancy, frustrates quality of life, undetermines belief, and poisons attitude and behavior. Poverty destroys children's lives. Number 2. Starvation. Starvation, if a child doesn't take in enough micronutrients, their intellectual and physical development can be harmed. This can cause lifelong disability, development delays, and mental disorders. And number 3 is the loss of livelihood. This can have a profound impact on the education of the children. When families experience financial hardship, it often becomes difficult to afford basic necessities, including school fees, books, and uniforms. As a result, children may be forced to drop out of the school, miss an important educational and opportunities. Number 4. Poor quality healthcare. This can be significant impact on education of a children. When children do not receive adequate healthcare, their physical and mental well-being can be compromised, leading to a range negative effect on their ability to learn and succeed in school. Next, number 5. Inadequate nutrition can lead to stunted growth and development. Malnourished children often suffer from a delayed physical growth, which can result in reduced energy level and poor concentration in the classroom. These children may struggle to stay focused and engage in their studies, making it difficult for them to absorb and retain information. And number 6, alcohol and drug abuse. This result to detrimental effect on the education of a children. Substance abuse not only affect involved but also have far-reaching consequences for their families and communities. Children growing up in households where alcohol and drug are prevalent face in numerous changes hinder their educational development. Violence against women and children has a far-reaching consequence, particularly when it comes to the educational of children. These pervasive issues not only affects the immediate victims but also has a profound impact on the next generation. The detrimental effect of violence on education are numerous and can hinder a child's ability to succeed academically or emotionally. Witnessing violence at home can create a hostile and unstable environment for children. This can lead to increased stress and anxiety, making it difficult for them to concentrate on their studies. The effect of mental health challenges on education is a decline in academic performance. Children who are dealing with mental health issues may find it challenging to concentrate in class, complete assignment, or participate in discussion. This can lead to lower grades and a lack of progress in their learning. Now let's go to our next subtopic, education. So education plays a crucial role in shaping the lives of children. It is not only a means to acquire knowledge, but also a pathway to personal growth and development. Education equips children with the necessary skills and tools to navigate through life successfully. Online classes and learning modules have become increasingly popular in recent years, offering students flexibility to learn at their own pace and from their own comfort of their own homes. However, this mode of education also represents its fair share of challenges. One of the main challenges of online classes is the lack of face-to-face interaction with instructors and peers. In a traditional classroom setting, students have the opportunity to ask questions, engage in discussion, which can enhance their understanding of the subject matter. In online classes, this interaction is often limited to virtual platform, which may not provide the same level of engagement. The COVID-19 pandemic has forced the world to adapt a new normal in various aspects of life, including education, with schools and universities closed. Educators and students have to quickly transition to online learning platforms. Social-cultural context. Factors of social-cultural context have significant effect in child's development. An example is culture. Culture plays an important role in how parents raise their children. It influences everything from how much time parents spend with their children to how they discipline them. There are cultural differences in how people think and behave. Next is ethnicity. Ethnicity provides children with a sense of belonging and understanding who they are and where they came from. Lastly, the social policies. This development influences a child's self-confidence, empathy, the ability to develop meaningful and lasting friendship and partnership, and a sense of importance and value to those around him or her.
So now, let's proceed to our topic, which is the developmental processes and periods. So, in developmental processes and periods, it includes the biological, cognitive, and social emotional processes. So, it means that each of us develop in certain ways like individuals, or for short, we develop normally. We develop our biological, cognitive, and also our social, emotional. So, according to Soundtrack 2002, an expert in lifespan, he developed or he suggested 7 developments in human. So the first one is development is lifelong. It does not end in adulthood. So it means that development is not completed in infancy or childhood or at any specific age. It encompasses the entire lifespan from conception to death. The second one is development is plastic. Development refers to the potential for change. There are no such things as I am too old for that. For me, it means that you as a human being, you are not too late to do something, to learn something. One of the example nowadays is technology. Even though you are too old, you can learn, you can train to use that technology. That is the development is plastic. The third one is development is multidimensional. Developing consists of 3 domain processes in human development, which is the biological, cognitive, and socio-emotional dimensions. So let's discuss this one by one. The first one is the biological processes. It produces changes in an individual's body. So biological processes, it is the changes of our body, the development of our body, including our height, weight, motor skills, and also it includes our brain. The next one is the cognitive processes. It refers to changes in an individual's thoughts, intelligence, and language. So it means that it is all about the development of our brain, especially our intelligence. It means that our intellectual capacity is increasing when we are getting older. So, like for example, when you were in an infant stage, you don't know how to use your body or your brain to do something correctly. But if you're getting older, you will know what is right and wrong. And by that, your intelligence or your intellectual capacity is increasing. The next one is socio-emotional processes. It involves changes in an individual's relationships with other people, changes in emotions, and changes in personality. So it means that socio-emotional processes, it is all about our emotions, how we have good relationship with each other, how we talk or communicate with other people, especially with our family. It is about relationships, and also it is all about our personality, how we manage our emotions, how we use it in a good way. Like for example, our personality is improving when we're getting older. Like we know how to respect individuals, we know how to use our minds, our body to do a good action. The next one is development is relatively orderly. It means that development occurs in a predictable and organized manner, a sequence of steps that consistently follow one another. Development is a gradual, continuous process, means most developmental changes happen slowly and are apparent over time. The next one is development takes place gradually. It takes years to mature, and that's the way of nature. So it means that development takes place. We cannot develop for a short period of time. It takes years to develop ourselves, like our size, our weight, our maturity. That's why it takes place to develop. The next one is development is contextual. It means that it recognizes that humans are inherently social beings, and in fact it is through interactions with other human beings that an individual's personal characteristics come to have meaning and that change occurs. The next first one is development involves growth, maintenance, and regulation. It means that for many individuals, the goal is to not seek growth in intellectual capacities such as memory or physical capacities such as physical strength, but to maintain those skills or minimize their deterioration.
The previous reporter, his topic is all about developmental processes and periods that talks about how a person develops as a human being, including the biological, cognitive, and socio-emotional development that we need to understand to be able to have a good understanding about individuals' development. So now let's discuss about the periods of development. Human development can be broadly divided into several periods or stages, each characterized by distinct physical, cognitive, and socio-emotional. These are the 5 periods of development. Number 1. Prenatal period. The conception to birth. According to Lumen Learnings, development begins at conception at the moment of fertilization and when egg cell and sperm cell combine. The resulting zygote contains all genetic information necessary from individual's growth and development. The marks the beginning of complex process that eventually leads to the formation of a fully developed human being. Number infancy. From birth to 2 years. During the early infancy stage of human development, this growth begins shortly after conception and continues throughout infancy and childhood. Motor skills, both gross motor skills like crawling, walking, and running, and fine motor skills such as grasping objects and using utensils are acquired gradually as nervous system and muscle mature. This development process is a statement to the incredible adaptability and learning capacity of human body during its early years. Number 3. Childhood period. There are 2 stages of childhood periods. First, early childhood from 2 to 6 years. The development of language, communication, and skills learning is a fascinating and crucial aspect of human growth and development. Throughout this process, caregivers, family members, and educators play a crucial role in language development by providing a supportive environment for communication and skills learning. Number 2 is the middle and late childhood from 6 to 12 years. It's important to note that skills development is not limited to these domains. People also develop skills in areas like arts, music, communication, leadership, and throughout their lives. The process often involves a combination of formal education practices, mentorship, and continuous learning. Number 4. Adolescence from 12 to 18 years. According to freshbook.ncc.ca, adolescence is a transition period between childhood and adulthood, typically spanning from around 12 to 18 years. It's marked by physical, cognitive, and emotional changes. Adolescents experience puberty, explore their identity, and often seek more independence. Number 5. Adulthood. Adulthood has 3 stages. First is early adulthood from 18 to 40 years. It's a time to exploration, self-discovery, and transition into more independence and adult roles. Second is middle adulthood from 40 to 65 years. It's that stage of life that focuses in career achievements, family, relationship, physical changes, exploring new interests, and financial planning. And the last is the late adulthood from 65 to death. It's a diverse and individualized stages of life, and experience can vary greatly among older adults. It's essential to provide support and resources to help individuals navigate the uniqueness and challenges and opportunities that comes with aging. This period of development provides a framework for understanding how individual growth and changes throughout their lives. And that's the end of my report. Now let's proceed to the next reporter. And the topic is all about developmental issues.
As we heard from the previous reporter, which is the periods of development, it is all about understanding the growth and the maturation of individuals in each period, which is from infancy to late adulthood. I am Jasper Miko Erlago, and I will discuss to you all about the developmental issues. In developmental issues, there are three important topics that we need to discuss, including nature versus nurture, continuity versus discontinuity, and the last one is the early versus later development. So, let's discuss what is nature and nurture. Nature refers to an individual biological inheritance. But if we understand what nature really is, it means that all genes and hereditary factors that contribute to a person or a child's unique physical appearance, personality, and physiology. And also, we have nurture. Nurture refers to its environmental experiences. It means that the nurture defined as the many environmental variables that affects a person, including their experiences in early childhood, family and social relationships, culture, and community. Now let's proceed to continuity and discontinuity. Continuity focuses on the extent to which development involves gradual and cumulative change. It means that development is similar to walking up a slope and there is no sudden jump in the process. For example, as the children grow up, they gradually start crawling, then sitting, then standing, and then finally walking. Discontinuity is seen as an abrupt, discontinuous event and a gradual process occurring over the years. Discontinuity view of development means that the people pass through stages of life that are qualitatively different from each other. For example, children go from only being able to think in very literary terms to being able to think abstractly. They have moved into the abstract thinking phase of their lives. Now, let's talk about the last issue. The last issue is the early and the later experience. Early and the later experience is the development describes what are the earlier point and the experiences have made us develop into who we are at the present. Additionally, the perspective that our past analysis, desire, and experiences of life is a result of current condition or situation. Early childhood is from 3 to 8 years old. The late childhood is from 9 to 11 years old.
And that's the end of our oral video presentation. We hope that you learned something about these 5 topics, which includes the historical views of childhood, current concerns about today's children, developmental processes and periods, periods of development and developmental issues. Good day and God bless.